There is a brand new boutique label that has just entered the market. I'm of course talking about Radiance Films and their brilliant releases of Big Time Gambling Boss and The Working Class Goes to Heaven. In this video, I'm going to be doing a thorough unboxing and review of these two titles and show you that Radiance Films is a label that you definitely need to be paying attention to. So let's hop over to my table and let's do a proper review of these discs. So here we are with the first two releases from Radiance Films, and I am absolutely amazed by the quality of these packages. I think this is a prime example of how to do a boutique collector's Blu-ray. So let's start with this one, The Working Class Goes to Heaven, a brilliant film from Elliot. And this won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival the year that it was released. So it's got the Palme d'Or symbol here on the front. And it says here, this is the world English subtitled Blu-ray premiere. So we are getting a world exclusive here. I'll just give you the briefest of introductions to the film itself before we actually look at the package here. So the film is set in a factory, and it follows the lives of the workers there. In particular, we follow this man played by Gian Maria Volante, and he is in the midst of sort of a crisis, a personal crisis, a breakdown, and his role within the factory, he is actually quite subservient to the bosses. So he likes to play by the rules, he wants to get things done, and he doesn't want to mess around. And especially anything to do with industrial action and striking, he wants nothing to do with. But then as the film progresses and, he's pushed down further and further by the people above him, he starts to come round to the idea that he is not being treated fairly. The film is a beautiful film to look at. Amazing soundtrack from the maestro Ennio Morricone. And amazing direction from Petri. And pitch perfect performances. So I loved watching this film for the first time on this Blu-ray. So let's get into the unboxing. So this is a Scanovo type of case. So this is very similar to the cases that Criterion use or Indicator. So they are very minimal, very stylish, and I think it's the best type of Blu-ray case. The Working Class Goes to Heaven is spine number 1 in the collection. So it is a spine numbered collection, which is probably going to send people's compulsive desires into overdrive. It already is doing that with myself. Let's have a look inside the case. So I'm going to just crack this open. Not literally crack it open, that would be a bad thing. Inside, you've got the Blu-ray. So there's one disc here. It has the film and all of the special features on the disc. And inside, we have a booklet. Now the booklet is very extensive and there's lots of writings in here. And if you're a fan of labels that do great booklets, so in the past Eureka, Indicator, BFI have all, and Arrow as well, they've all done amazing booklets. Well, Radiance is definitely part of the excellent booklet game. You've got a list of the cast and crew of the film, and then there's various writings in here, which I'm not going to read out on the video. I don't want to spoil them. But there are new writings from 2002, and then there are also some writings from the time of the film itself. There was a contemporary review, so you can get a picture of how the film was received at the time. And there's an interview with the director in the booklet as well. And it's illustrated, great illustrations of the posters and the promotional materials. So the booklet is absolutely great, and it clocks in at about 50 pages, I think, 54 pages. So a very, very substantial booklet indeed. You'll see inside the case here that it has a reversible sleeve. So I think this is actually one of the original poster artworks. I don't know if this has been edited to add the English language on there or if it is the original poster that was in English. But this is a great artwork as well, that you can reverse the sleeve and have this on display. And I think I'm going to, switch out these occasionally and have this on display. Now, if I just pop these back in the case and we go back to the front. So you're probably looking at this thinking, well, this is strange because the artwork and the title of the film is cut off by this text here, and they've printed, the ugly ratings logo on here, when it could have looked really nice and clean. Well, actually, this is something that is very unique to this label. I haven't seen another Blu-ray company do this before, because if I crack open this and I just lift up the cover here, this comes out here. So this comes out, and we now have the new artwork completely on its own. There's nothing obscuring the title, and it looks so clean, so smooth. It is such a nice touch to have this option. Having this as the artwork, or the reversible sleeve, or having this on the case, it's just so nice. And it really shows the love and care and the attention that is being paid by the folks at Radiance. This thing here that I pulled out, this is very much like the OB strips, or the OBI strips, that you would see on Japanese CDs and Japanese vinyl records, where they would have this around it and you can take it off and it doesn't ruin the printed artwork on the cover. And I just think it is absolutely perfect. And inside this, they've just got some of the future releases that are being advertised here as well, which I cannot wait to check out. And for now, I think what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to take the booklet out here. I'm going to just pop this inside the case here, so it can live in there just behind the booklet. Keep it nice and safe. I guess you could throw it away if you wanted, but I'm too OCD for that. And there you go. This is Spy Number 1, The Working Class Goes to Heaven, from Radiance Films. Now, I've looked at the packaging. I'll just talk a bit about the presentation of the film itself. It looks amazing on the 2K restoration, which is presented on the Blu-ray. The sound is perfect as well. Absolutely no issues at all. And it looks like it was encoded very well on the disc. No digital artifacts or anything that stood out to me. It was just a very pleasant viewing experience. It struck me as quite a colourful film, so the colours were nice and vibrant. It reminded me a lot of films such as 8 Hours Don't Make a Day, which was by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. That's another kind of social look at workers. And it also reminded me of Paul Schrader's Blue Collar, of course, because of the factory setting and, the kind of revolt amongst the people. And as you would expect from a boutique release like this, there are plenty of great special features on the disc itself. There is a visual essay there to, accompany the film. There are archival interviews with the filmmakers, the cast and the crew. And there is also an appreciation by filmmaker Alex Cox, who I love listening to. I love Alex Cox's films as well. But he always talks so brilliantly about, the films that he is passionate about. I always see him talk about spaghetti westerns and Italian films and genre films, going all the way back to the days of Moviedrome. So I think that is a great special feature. He talks about his love for Gian Maria Volante, and who was obviously featured in spaghetti westerns. He was also in Petri's investigation of A Citizen Above Suspicion. So yeah, a great actor and a great appreciation from Alex Cox on the disc. So all in all, a brilliant first release from Radiance Films. I think I've covered everything there, but if there's anything else you want to know, just drop a comment on this video and I'll get back to you. So now we move on to the second title that I have here from Radiance Films, Big Time Gambling Boss, a film by Kosaku Yamashita. I watched this just the other night and had so much fun with it. It was not what I was expecting at all, because I'm used to watching a lot of Yakuza films from the period, and sometimes they often put action and thrills above character and story. And I was worried that this was perhaps going to be, just a typical Yakuza genre movie, but it actually had so much depth. The melodrama in this movie was done exquisitely well, and I loved the characters and the conflict between the characters. So a bit about the film. It's set in the 1930s. It follows this Yakuza gang whose leader has fallen ill and is not well enough to run the gang, so they are trying to work out who is going to be the new leader. There are a few options as to who could be leader. One of them is currently in prison, although he is about to be set free. But the gang decide not to involve him at all, so naturally, when he comes out of prison during the film, there is conflict there because he doesn't like how things have been run without him. There is our lead character, played by Koji Saruta, who is perhaps the best fit to be leader of the gang, although he decides to not take up the position, to the annoyance of the fellow gang members. So it's a real tale of backstabbing, literally and figuratively. There's a lot of political machinations going on behind the scenes here. So it is a great film. Very, very surprised by this because, like I said, I thought it was going to be like some of the more weaker Yakuza movies I've seen from the period. And I should mention that this is written by Kazuo Kazuhara, who frequently worked with Kinji Fukasaku, especially on the Battles Without Honor and Humanity series. So it is exquisitely written as well. A very, very solid script that they were using to make this movie. So that's what I think about the movie itself. I hope I've sold you on giving this one a chance. But let's have a look at the packaging now. So this one is spy number 12 from Radiance. So they've released this one out of order, so to speak, but they have already announced an opening slate. So there's quite a few films they've already announced, which will be coming very soon. And sometimes labels have to do this because the materials that they're preparing for releases don't come together in time, and some are ready, sooner than others. So they decide to release them sort of out of order. So that's not strange at all. Oh, something I forgot to mention, which is important and probably a lot of people will ask me about. These are Region B locked, as stated on the back of the case. Although I could have sworn that when I put this in my Blu-ray player the other day, it was still on Region A. So I don't actually know about that. Maybe it's printed as Region B, but it could be Region 3. You know what, I'll have to double check on that. But if anyone else knows if these are actually Region 3, then do let me know. So when we look inside the case, again, it's one Blu-ray, and we have a booklet, and the sleeve is reversible. So let's have a look at the artwork here. I'll just pop that there. So that is clearly an original poster. Again, I don't know if the English text has been added here, but it looks very nice indeed. And I will definitely be switching the artwork around. So here we have the booklet for Big Time Gambling Boss. Again, this one seems like a very decent booklet indeed. Not as long as the one for Working Class, because this one is 26 pages. So in the booklet, there are 2 articles here. These are new ones from 2022, and they go into, some of the details of the movie, the context for this within Japanese cinema and things like that. And there are production stills and various other illustrations here. So it's a very well printed booklet indeed. So I'm very happy again with the booklet from Radiance. And as with the first release that I showed you, the strip here does come out of the sleeve. So let's show you what the artwork looks like without it. Now that looks so clean. Very, very nice. That is absolutely a stunningly clean, simple, minimalist design. Again, on the inside of the strip here, there are some of the upcoming titles from Radiance. And you do find all of the information of the special features, and there's a bit of a description here about the film itself to sell it to you. The film looked and sounded absolutely amazing on the Blu-ray. I didn't have any issues at all. And it is a film in colour, by the way, because you might be misled by this artwork thinking it's in black and white. Again, the colours look great on the disc. I really loved the design of the film, the costumes and the environments, very evocative for that 1930s period. So I thought the whole thing was just a brilliant production. Again, I'm just going to put the strip behind the booklet here. So let me just get this out as gently as I can. This is just going to go in here, and the booklet can go on top. In fact, you know what? For demonstration purposes, let me show you what it looks like with the reversible sleeve. So let me just try and put this in delicately because we don't want to rip it. That would be a very bad thing indeed. And I would probably be crying on camera. No one wants to see that. So let's just get the last bit in like so. So you've got to be very particular about these things sometime. There we go. How good does that look? Very vibrant red, very evocative case. And again, you've still got the spine number 12 on there. So yeah, you can display this however you want. You can have this cover, you can have the one on the reverse, you can have it with the strip on, however you want it. If you do opt for the reverse side, it does actually feature all of the information of what's on the disc on here, which the new artwork did not, because it was going for that more minimal look. So it's quite nice to actually have it this way around because you've got easy access to see what is on the disc. Now, in terms of special features, there are 2 features on the disc from experts who are very knowledgeable about the Yakuza genre and Japanese history. So they go into kind of the studio system at the time and where this film is positioned in the history of the genre. Something that is quite interesting to note about these first 2 releases is that there are no audio commentaries on here at all. I would have perhaps thought that would have been something that Radiance would be looking at doing, but you know, that's not a bad thing that there's no commentaries here. Commentaries are always nice to have on discs, and I'm sure they're going to be having commentaries on future discs. So there you go. That is an unboxing look at the first 2 releases from Radiance Films. I'm so happy with these. I think they're a brilliant label already with just these first 2. So I can't wait to get the future releases. Anyway, I'll throw it back to me in the studio. If you enjoyed this review of the first 2 Radiance Films releases, then do stick around on this channel for more boutique Blu-ray videos. Click the one on screen if you want some more recommendations for great world cinema. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.